Hi, I'm Kate Bergener. I am a graphic designer and I specialize in interactive PDF workbooks and other digital tools. I'm working on a lead magnet for my own business right now that is kind of a sampler of a bunch of different types of interactive abilities. And right now, the section that I'm working on is the brainstorming section for the user to think through what kind of digital product they might want to put together for their own business. So this one is kind of where I started with interactive PDFs, giving people a place to record their thoughts, providing the prompt text to help them know better what should go in a particular field, and moving information from place to place. The simplest form of this is transfer fields, which will be used a couple of other places in the workbook. They're not happening here, but there will be a section where people can choose from, they'll fill in 4 different options and then they'll choose the one that they want to move forward with. And then we'll see that transfer to a different spot. But it doesn't work quite like a transfer field because people can change their choice and it affects the single field later on. So let's dive on in and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here we are in the document itself. You've seen this page before if you've gone through my other videos because it has the drop down that triggers a case study, but this drop down also is going to do some other stuff. So I wanted to demonstrate that. Choose the goal that fits right for you. Maybe it's catch some of the leads that aren't quite the right fit for your signature service. And then we'll skip this section because we've talked about that in a previous video. But when we come to this new section, it sounds like you want to catch some leads that aren't quite the right fit. So this field has been filled in with text based on the selection that the user chose in the Dropbox. This can be really useful. Here it's just slightly reworded. The pronouns have changed because it's not talking about the things that I want to do, but the things that you want to do. But it could be as elaborate as showing different sections of the material. It could be a field that is like a whole paragraph that gives you more context about the choice that you've chosen. And like you can think about that in a lot of different ways. So this is just kind of an introduction into, hey, I chose this Dropbox, it filled in this field. You can go back and you can change it to a different choice and it changes what's in the field. And it's pretty fun. The rest of these are largely just recording fields for the user. So they have placeholder text in them that's kind of grayed out to kind of make it a little bit like this is not here, or this is not the text that's supposed to go here. It's got brackets around it, so it also has like another visual signifier like, yeah, this is something that I haven't filled in yet. And then you might say, not all caps. You might say you want to help freelance businesses get X results through whatever it is that you do. So as you have typed it in, it adjusts to the width of the field. It stays like a darker color, like you can click into one and the placeholder text goes away, but if you don't put anything in and you leave it, placeholder text comes back. So it's really user friendly. So they can be like, wait, what am I supposed to be putting in here again? And they click out. They're like, ah, yes, results. And then these are also just kind of places to put your thoughts in there, like just for the user to be recording the things that they're thinking about as they move through this. And then they can save this and they can come back to it. And it's like a whole like building of things. Like we've talked about things, they're thinking through things, they are recording their thoughts and they're moving on to the next spot. And it's just a good way to capture all of the thoughts that they're having about the process as they go through it. On this next page, we have different topics that the user, like after they've done all of the brainstorming work on the previous page, they could think of up to 4 different topics on what might be like a good workbook that they could put together. So they might do these topics here. I've pre-written them because I am powerfully bad at typing and talking at the same time. Honestly, even like highlighting and copying and pasting, it's a lot of dead air. It's significantly better than how that usually goes. So anyway, so they've picked their 4 topics. They're encouraged to save this, walk away from it, kind of let it marinate in my brain for a while. That's how all of my best decisions get made. I have to think about them for a few days. But then when they come back in, they could say, hey, I really want to iron out the onboarding process for people. And so they would choose this. They can only choose one. This is a radio, but it's set up to look like checkboxes, kind of because I hate the way that the radio buttons look. But they choose one, and then once they have chosen that, we have another one of these tips down here at the bottom. But once they have chosen this, on the next page, it has transferred that. And if they go and they choose something different, it's transferred that there too. This is not a straight transfer field. It's a little bit different, but it is a way of allowing people to capture more information than what they're ultimately going to need, and then think about it and then narrow that down, which is a process that you have to use all of the time in all kinds of systems. So this is like a really useful way of helping somebody work through like how they want to do that instead of like, oh, okay, so this is the one I want to do. I want to copy and paste it into this other thing later. No, it's moved it. It's like absolutely released all the friction from that. It's just put it where you need to think about it next. So on this page, then, okay, it's like, all right, here's the topic you want to talk about. Start writing, start brainstorming, start thinking through what that's going to look like in the end. And then this is just a little bit more detail about moving information from place to place. That is one of the more sophisticated ways to do it, but it could be as simple as two fields being named the same thing, and then it's just the same value for the field in every spot where the field is. So like you might have somebody say, this is my goal, and they type out a goal, and then like 2 chapters later, it's like, here's your goal, revisit it. What next steps do you want to take? And you've just moved that goal to there. So there's a lot of ways to move information around. And this is just kind of an introduction to, hey, we can create spaces for people to think and to digest the information that they've been given, and then to make a choice based on the thinking that they've done. So that is it for this section. It both feels pretty simple and pretty sophisticated. You can move information around, which a lot of PDFs don't take advantage of. And there's very simple ways to do that and more complicated ways to do that. And basically, it's just about finding the thing that best supports your user and how to support their learning and make things as friction-free as possible for them. If you are interested in getting the lead magnet when it is available, I will link below to a landing page where you can sign up for my newsletter. I will send it there first before I do anything else with it. I also might be looking for beta users to just test it out and make sure that I'm not missing anything when I have completed the whole thing. But I will reach out to my newsletter and see if anybody wants to work with me from there. So if you're at all interested, head on down to the link in the description and sign up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.